रूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। हरि ओम। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. Can someone recollect what is it that we have seen? Anything that we have covered? Yes, anybody. You can form the link and move ahead. Yes, please. Any point that we covered yesterday.
Yeah, I would repeat the same thing which I, kind of grabbed
Maji, you are
yesterday.
muted.
Oh,
Okay. Yes, sir.
no, I'm on mute. Yeah.
Please go on, sir.
So I
Yes,
would
sir.
kind of repeat the same thing which I grabbed yesterday, kind of like, those three ways by which you can get to that Param Tattva. So first he said is the, what is this? Oh, I'm getting a call. So you can hear me, right, guys?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So the first one is the meditation, yoga. Second is, I guess, what was that?
Knowledge. Soul, nature,
Knowledge,
separation,
gyan.
understanding.
Knowledge, gyan. And third is karma. I mean, satkarma, whatever you do, karma se bhi you can get it there. And then one beautiful point at the last we concluded with it is that Lord Krishna is in our heart. Hamare hirday mein hai. He is here. He resides in our heart.
Yeah.
So these were the point I actually
Yes, sir.
picked up yesterday.
Right, sir. Yes. I think there's a lag in the screen. You're able to hear my audio? Everybody?
Yes.
Hari Om. Namaste. I think there's something. Yes. Hari Om. Yes. Am I audible now?
Yes.
All right. Yes. Okay. Thank you,
Your
sir.
voice is little low, sir. Your voice is little low.
Voice is low. Now is it better?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. So yes, I think Pankaji just shared something about Krishna is in our heart. The location of Krishna we have traced. Also, the three ways we can understand. Anything else, Biju Maji? Would you like to add something?
Yeah, yes. If one is ignorant and confused which way to go, and you don't know your path, which path to choose, that time if you listen to the divine and completely surrender to the divine, he will take you to the right path.
Yes. This is something Krishna has told, meaning there are so many Kshetras, there is one Kshetrajna, and we see if we do not know which is the path, we do not know where to go, that time listen to the Kshetrajna. Listen to the Kshetrajna and you will receive the knowledge. That was how the ancient, by listening is an art, isn't it? Our yogis were able to listen to like words from another realm also, what we call the Shruti, at a very higher state of understanding. They could see, and because they were capable of the Shruti, they became the Drashtas. They were the ones who were able to hear, and because they could hear, they could also see the truth. That is why they were the Drashtas. Something like that is there. So when we identify a kshetra and where we want to become the kshetrajna or we want to progress, we have to surrender and listen to the kshetrajna. That is also one path to move ahead. Let's continue. We had stopped at shloka number 27. We will continue with the 28th shloka. Samam pashyanti sarvatra samavasthitam ishwaram nahi nasti atmanatmanam tato yati param gatim. Witnessing the existence of the one Lord in all things, he perceives the supreme play of forces in all beings. By the flames of passionate desire, he is not injured, and for such a being, the supreme status is assured. So, what happens when you realize the presence of the divine? Krishna says you begin to perceive the play of forces in all the things, in all the beings. You are like watching a movie. Do we get too excited when we watch movies? We get a little excited, but not too overexcited, isn't it? If somebody punches somebody else, we don't immediately feel we are getting punched or we are punching someone. It is just like that when you are able to understand the play of forces in the world. Krishna says, then you're not going to be burnt by the fire of passionate desire. And if you are not getting burnt by this passion's fire, you can be assured you have already passed the first test. You are then going to reach the Paramapada. You are going to reach the highest state of consciousness. That is what Krishna says. It is something very interesting. The world is actually continuously full. It's like you're stepping into a furnace only, because fire is everywhere in the world. Desires are plenty. Now we have to probably wear a good bodysuit which is not going to burn us, and that is the principle of detachment. If you are able to practice that, and not get burnt by the flames of passionate desire, Krishna says you can reach that highest state. This aspect of forces, um, we will be studying in detail about it, because Krishna is going to tell us in subsequent adhyayas. He's going to call them three gunas. In the form of three gunas, these forces function in people: rajas, tamas, and sattva. But before we go into it, have you ever felt like this, that forces are at play, in forces entering people and people behaving differently? Anybody?
No, some people when they become suddenly rich or anything,
Okay.
that their behavior towards others changes.
हाँ,
That
हवा
is
चढ़
there.
गई जैसे ना.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. गरम हवा चढ़ गई दिल में जैसे. Okay, Rahul ji is adding something. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it happens, in our own personal life so many times. There are times when, I was in the corporate world and there was so much rajas to achieve and there was so much ambition. And, because with that ambition came such a big lot of issues also. And also, there's a time when one is more in meditation, etc. One is, more in the sattva.
Okay.
And yes, there is less tamas now, but I think there was a time when there was so much lethargy and all that.
Yes, sir. But since we have not been introduced in detail to the three gunas, without mentioning the name of the three gunas, I was just saying, have you, like you said, you felt forces working in you? Something about that, or forces working in somebody else? When have you felt that?
Yeah. Have definitely felt that so many times. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Right. Yes. So this is something, because sometimes I think when things are going, everything is going my way. What's going to happen? I'm
Yeah,
going to
that
start feeling. Yeah.
ahangara comes in.
Yeah, my caller is like, hey, nothing can
Yeah.
touch me. Now I've got a connection of Krishna only, so everything is going to
I have
go
seen
my
that
way.
in many people.
Yeah. It happens, and that is an aspect of nature only. So that is what Krishna is saying. Somebody who is going to enter into this kshetra, but despite entering into the kshetra, that individual is not getting burnt by this fire. That person is assured. Like we got the example of Padma Patram Mevambhasa, as Krishna said, isn't it? Like the lotus leaf
Yeah.
Water droplets do not cling. The lotus leaf has not left the water. That lotus leaf is in the water. And yet, no matter how much water you pour, that lotus leaf will not allow. And I had some fun because in our unit, we have a small pond with a lotus in it. So with a pipe, just for the sake, for fun, when I first come across the shloka, I tried to put a lot of force of water and see what's going to happen. But no matter what force of water is put on the leaf might bend a bit, but no, water is not clinging to it. So what a great siddhi. Well, that is the siddhi we must reach, or that is the siddhi we must attain in this life. Because then, Krishna says, you can reach the highest status. Let us go on. Krishna says, Prakrityaiva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashaha yah pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sapashyati. It is Prakriti who alone engages in act and enacts. In all the world's working, she acts. But the self remains inactive and silently foresees. Whoever sees this truth of the world truly sees. It is Prakriti, the executive power, the active principle of the Purusha, the component, the dynamic force which is working everywhere inside everyone. She is acting, but the self, the inner self, the supreme self, what we call the Purusha, the inner principle is there. That is participating silently and watching everything. Whoever sees this truth of the world, that person truly sees. Many times I think we go to some parks or some places and we sometimes think there's nothing going on when we look at everything there. We are going to chill. We don't really have anything in our agenda. We don't have any work to do. And when we look around, we feel nothing is going on. But if we actually look a little bit differently with a different perspective, then we can observe 100,000 activities taking place, from the insects, from the animals to the people also. Sometimes you will see two people meeting, they might be meeting after maybe a decade. Somebody else will be discussing something else, everything is going on. But if you are able to understand that ultimately it is the force of the divine that is working and functioning inside, and that active force of the divine is but Prakriti. That is what Krishna is saying. You can understand it is going on, working inside everybody. If you are able to understand this, Krishna says, you can be truly free. Yada, Krishna goes on, he says, Yada bhuta pratag bhavam ekastham anupashyati tata eva cha vistaram brahma sampadyate tada. When one realizes the unexpressed and latent eternal, dwelling within the myriad forms, the one supernal, because of whom all of existence sustains, the gnosis of Brahma, he verily attains. This is beautiful. It's this ability to withdraw in the middle of activity and still be engaged in life. You are going to raise your consciousness to reach the highest state where you will understand, you get realization of that Brahman. All these yogis across all, why only Sanatan Dharma? We have various dharmas also, people trying to connect with the divine, isn't it? And many have been successful in connecting to the divine. Then get experiences which we call miraculous experience, or we call suprahuman experiences, or what metacognitive experiences. We give 100 different names to it, but they are all the same experiences which people like all of us have got by connecting with the Brahman, by experiencing that oneness with the Brahman. That is what Krishna is talking about. When you realize that there is this hidden divine, sukshma, covered by what? Maya. Well, within that, the divine is present, he's saying. And that same divine is present in several different outer forms. And because of this divine, only the world is existing. When you realize this, you can slowly attain that Brahma Jnana. You reach that state. Anaditvan nirgunatvat paramatmayam avyayaha sharirasthopi kaunteya na karoti na lipyate. Immaculate and without any boundaries or ends. all of nature's qualities, the Supreme Self transcends. O Arjuna, the Self is seated within the body, unperturbed, and by occurrences of nature, he is not disturbed. So, this Atman is something which is not disturbed only. He is transcending the gunas. The gunas are present in the world, but the Atman is beyond it. And it is seated and not disturbed by the occurrences of nature. Can we become undisturbed by things happening around us? Say an earthquake is happening. How are we going to be undisturbed? Anybody? Say an earthquake is taking place. How do we remain undisturbed in the face of this?
We will be disturbed.
We will be disturbed, isn't it?
Yes.
We will be disturbed both inside and outside, no?
Outside, yes.
Well, this is the interesting aspect Krishna is talking about here. There are two components. One is the active principle and another is the inert principle. So we can probably try to connect with the Supreme Purushan at that time. And the part of us which is going to be actively involved in the work would be the Prakriti component. So let our Prakriti component work. Let us allow the adrenaline to flow inside. Let us run to the safe place. But while running, while we are in the midst of the activity, we should remain detached. Yes, Rahulji is saying something.
Very difficult, because when you are with the Prakriti, you get so consumed by that thing. I mean, it is not being split, I think, at one level. At one side, you are connected to your consciousness. On the other side, you're fully there in the action. I mean, I'm not able to fully, while conceptually, you are intellectually, one can understand, but not at the experience level right now for myself.
Yes, and that is the difficult aspect. That is the what we call the Dvaita. Means there is a mat which says we cannot do that. We cannot experience this oneness. They are two absolutely different components. Yet there is also one understanding that we can experience that. Best of best examples is the simplest example of a parent scolding a child. I keep giving this example so many times. When the parent is scolding a little child who does not even know language, how does the parent scold? Anybody, any parenting.
With eyes,
Yes, Mitali said, with eyes, angry
showing
eyes, isn't it?
angry eyes.
Yes, but are you really angry when you show this angry eyes? No, isn't it? You just want that force to enter into the child and
Yeah.
make that child. You want your act. What you want there is you just want this thing to move ahead, because the child is not going to remember anything. Child is too small, but at least the child will, one sanskar will be created that this should not happen. So you are doing that without really getting carried away on the inside. Or sometimes the husband or the wife suddenly start making up a new language and make some weird sounds while scolding. The other spouse is somehow just managing to control laughter because it sounds so very funny. But for the child, it is a scolding. So you are scolding without really entering into the bhava of scolding. So you have actually practiced detachment, and yet you have practiced dynamic action and detachment. So this is just a very simpler and mildest aspect of how one can, probably be in both. You are in the action also, and yet you are detached. Something like that we can. It's difficult. It's difficult, but to be honest, if I get passionate also, will the earthquake's measurement come down on the Richter scale? Earthquake is coming. It is this much. You say whatever magnitude is there, that magnitude is not going to change, isn't it? If I get on the inside very hurt. Yes. Yes. Rahulji wants to say something.
Yes. I think if one is meditating every day over a period of time, what happens is, even when there is the earthquake,
Yeah.
then there is part of you which is not reacting. What is ever the responsible action that needs to be taken? If mind you would swing far more earlier, now it swings lesser. This is how it
Beautifully
is.
said.
And maybe as more and more one meditates and one is more devoted, then one is able to, dissolve into that thing and see that there is this one hand which is working there also, and you are
Yeah,
able to see
absolutely.
it.
Beautifully said, sir. I think you just answered your question on how we can do it, sir. It is this by cultivating that through dhyana. Through dhyana, slowly one enters into that state. Initially, some moments, then little larger moments. And I have seen one elderly person. He was being insulted left and right by his own children who went and took away things from him in front of him, wanting to trigger him. Somebody who has done so good throughout life for your, like, for example, every parent will do their best for the kids, isn't it? And they do their sincere best, how much ever is possible. And so a lot of efforts are done, a lot of tyag is done, a lot of sacrifice is done, and we can say a lot of emotions are invested. The least that parents will feel is at least I shouldn't get, cursed for the good that I have done, and people should, these same children for whom I have done something, they should not, you know, try to hurt me so much that they want to see me fall. But this individual was watching that in front of him. Yet that I saw it in my, it was like I can say I was lucky, though it was a sad moment to watch, but I was lucky to watch the principle of detachment in practice. He was calm and sitting on a chair, watching his own belongings being taken away, and not a single moment and not a drop of tear shed, and being able to watch it. I mean, that is really remarkable. But that is how much control one can have over our emotions. It is not that a person would never feel sad. It will happen. Same way in exciting situations or disturbing situations also. If we are able to, like Rahulji shared, because of dhyana, we have cultivated one inner poise. We get the nice direction from the divine on how to act and how to not act at the time, when to react, when to not react. These are all important things, but these decisions should not be taken by whims of emotions. They have to come from a quieter place, and that quieter place is what we have to cultivate through the dhyana. That is something which we can see. Let us continue. Krishna says in the next shloka, यथा सर्वगतं सौक्ष्म्यात् आकाशं नोपलिप्यते सर्वत्रावस्थितो देहे tathatma nopalipyate. Like the sky that stretches across all of space, and its subtleness limits not its all-pervading embrace, so too is the self that in all life forms persists, unaffected within the physical body, the self exists. The self is like this akasha, the tattva of akash. How is it? It is all sarva vyapa, it is spreading everywhere. It cannot be limited. It is just everywhere. It is like that. Children when they go to hill stations, they suddenly see so much. They say, "Oh wow, I can see the sky. I can see the clouds. I'm going to go and catch them." But they are not able to because it is so subtle that your hands cannot hold them, and yet it is spreading so far. That is how the Atman is. That is how the Supreme Divine is. The Self is there in all life forms, unaffected within the physical body. Let's continue. Now we see here Krishna giving this knowledge of the Atman. And this Atman is present where? It is present everywhere. It is like the atmosphere, is what Krishna is saying. That also implies that meaning is that we are living, breathing, and dwelling in the consciousness of the divine. Only we are not aware of it. The choice is ours. We become aware, we can probably experience certain things, or at least not get, carried away, or at least not burnt by the passion. Let us see. यथा प्रकाशयति एकः कृत्स्नं लोकम् इमं रविः क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तथा कृत्स्नं प्रकाशयति भारत. Arjuna, just as the singular sun's light is adequate to make the whole of earth bright, so too is the field illumined complete. With the knowledge of the field's light, it is replete. Krishna says, Yatha prakashatyekah kritsnam lokam mimam ravihi kshetram kshetri tatha kritsnam prakashayati bharata. For our bhuloka, one sun is enough, isn't it? One sun is sufficient enough to make the entire world bright. Our earth is illumined by it. Just like that, the Kshetra is also illumined with the Kshetrajna's light. It is everywhere. We need to see. When we see, we become free. Kshetra Kshetrajna yor evam antaram jnana chakshusha bhuta prakriti moksham cha ye vidur yanti te param. With the inner eye of knowledge, those who perceive about the field and its knower, they can conceive, and of the individual's liberation from Prakriti's dominion. They attain with the Supreme, the complete merger and union. So, when they are able to see with the Jnana Chakshu, this is interesting because we saw Jnana Chakshu's upayog, isn't it? It granted Arjuna Divya Drishti right in the middle of the battlefield, and he saw some really crazy, remarkable visions. We also have this Jnana Chakshu. With the Jnana Chakshu, when we realize the presence of the Kshetrajna in our Kshetra, we become free. We become free from the. This is interesting. Prakriti's domination also we are going to get free, and then we attain the supreme merger or become one with the divine. Question number 1. Why do we need to escape from the domination of Prakriti? Anyone? Why do you think so? It's necessary. Yes, anyone?
Is it because Prakriti has vikaras?
Yes, Vinitaji. I'll come to Rahulji after
Prakriti
that.
has vikaras.
Yeah.
So to to better ourselves,
Yes.
so that we can.
Absolutely. This is something which is very true. There are vikara, and the reason we have been given a bit of a free will to bring about changes of transformation is for this only. We become instruments of the divine and then become in some ways, because the way of Prakriti is sometimes good, but sometimes it is not good also, and we have that ability to become free from that. That is what Krishna is talking. That is the free will. We can become absolutely free also. That is what Krishna is trying to share here. Rahulji, you were saying something?
I think the mind is very tuned to connecting to the Prakriti. It's mind's old nature to always get stuck in the Prakriti and the games of the Prakriti. And maybe going inwards is more of an, it is not in our true, it's not in the nature of things. So that is why probably it's good to close eyes and disconnect with the Prakriti for some time. Maybe.
Okay, but yes, it's about transformation of Prakriti, sir, here. It's transformation of the force of Prakriti on us. Sometimes it is like, I think if you see, if everybody has the experience of gardening also, when you start gardening, you plant some trees and then the same trees grow in a very rapid manner. And then you have to sometimes work, you have to do certain changes, you have to do certain modifications. It is something like that in the way. Rahulji?
I have two questions. If this is the right time to ask, otherwise I can ask
Is it
later.
connected with this? If it is, we can look at it.
Yes, it is. One is chapter 12. Chapter 12 was all about Bhakti Yoga. Is it right to say that chapter 12 Bhagwan is saying Sargun Sarup jo Bhakti hai, that is more preferred? And he was talking about that, and 13th chapter is more about Nirgun Bhakti. Is that how one sees it?
Actually, Krishna said it is. I'll just mute you, sir. Some reason every time your speaker leads to a echo. I don't know. Yes, sir. So 12th is talking about Krishna is asked a question which is better, and when he is asked which bhakti is better, Krishna did not directly answer which is the better way, whether it is Sagun or Nirgun. But one place, one shloka, he does mention that it is a little difficult to connect directly with Nirgun. Probably through the guna you can rise and go what is because from Sagun to slowly go to the Nirgun. So that is the Madhyam. But here Krishna is probably tuning us for the next chapter, which is the chapter on the gunas. Before we realize the gunas, we have to realize the origin of the gunas. So the origin is from this game of Prakriti and Purusha, this play of forces. So he's trying to first, before bringing us to the practical, he's giving us first the philosophy behind it, Rahulji.
Okay.
Yes, yes, sir. So now this adhyay gets over with this simple shloka where Krishna is saying, when you are able to see that this entire world is just a confluence of the game of the Kshetra, and game of the Kshetrajna in the Kshetra, according to the rules of what we can say, the rules set together by Purusha and Prakriti, you are going to be free. This is so interesting because it is a matter of perspective. Your perspective sometimes defines your way of life. Many people ignore their own perspectives, their own philosophies, and in the end, they get trapped. They get trapped in Maya, and then everything becomes a confusion, everything becomes a frustration, everything becomes out of control. Yet, when you are able to withdraw and still participate in the activity, then you can understand, you get a little bit of insight. You begin to understand that, yes, I am not the only player. There is a big player in this game, and that is the Krishna himself, the Yogeshwara, and this is just the Krida. And that allows you to experience what we can say Ananda in the Leela of the divine. So let us see how this the philosophy has been set that we are surrounded by the force of the divine. Let us see. Let's continue. The 14th adhyay. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Param Bhuyah Pravakshami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yajñatva Munayah Sarve Param Siddhim Mito Gataha. Lord Krishna said, once more to you I shall declare and lend. What is the peak of knowledge that man can ascend? This paramount gnosis that the liberated sages have reached, by which the boundaries of mortal perfection have been breached. Isn't this becoming a little cliche? Krishna is saying again and again, I am going to give you that hides knowledge, that supreme secret. Anybody, why do you think this could be? Doesn't get boring then. A lot of people feel like when they see all of these concepts, they feel, oh, I think I better do something else. What is the use of all of this philosophy? People don't like philosophy at all. They prefer all other activities than trying to look at the philosophy of things. It here again, Krishna is saying, I am giving you that supreme knowledge. Why is he repeating this?
To reach Siddhi Mito Gata, so to reach the highest level of perfection.
To reach the highest level of perfection. And sometimes we have this tendency in our own life that we dismiss things because of partial understanding. We partially understand something and immediately, this is it, this is it. That is why Krishna has to take efforts again and again, again and again. Because you see, the mind understands little bit and this is this much only. There is nothing more to it. So then Krishna has to say one more way, another way. And sometimes we don't, when we ignore all of this, and we are lucky if we get some direction. Like Arjuna is so lucky, Krishna is saying that again and again. But I think we are not so lucky every time, isn't it, in life? We have to quickly grab the moment. So that is why we try to see and pick from the Gita whatever we can get. But let us see, Arjuna is saying, I am going to tell you how siddhis were attained or how these yogis did works with perfection. The liberated sages, these were the ones, they were what we call the Jivan Muktas, the ones who performed their actions and yet were not burnt by the fire of actions. This is something Krishna is saying, I will declare to you. Krishna goes on, he says, Idam jnanam upashritya mama sadharmya Excuse me. Excuse me. Hari Om. My voice is clear, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I had to use the speaker because my volume is only down today. So, idam jnanam upashritya mama sadharmyam agataha sargepi nopajayante pralaye na vyathanti cha. By taking shelter in this knowledge, they have obtained the highest wisdom, which in my oneness can be attained. No more are they reborn in the cycle of destruction and creation, nor are they agitated or confused by the universal extinction. So Krishna is saying, when by taking shelter in this knowledge, whatever Krishna is going to share, these yogis, these liberated sages, they attained the highest oneness and they received the wisdom that comes from that highest oneness that allowed them to get free from the cycle of birth and death, nor were they confused or agitated by the universal extinction. This aspect of extinction, that is something which disturbs a person very much. Krishna talked about it in the Prayana Kala, in the 8th Adhyaya. In that last moment, it is like a flickering of the flame before it gets off. But for the yogi, it happens so naturally. It is like the Mahamrityunjay mantra, because they have understood some truth. They have understood the truth of life. They have understood the truth of death. Because of this understanding, they are no more agitated. Let's continue. Mama yonir mahat brahma tasmin garbham dadhamyaham sambhavaha sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. O Arjuna, the worldly creation is my womb vast, within which the seed of life I infuse and cast, from which arise the beings of the mortal dream. For all the living creatures, I am the Creator Supreme. This world is the womb, and in this womb I plant the seed of life. All living beings are born, all creatures are born, and I am the creator of all of them. Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtayah sambhavanti yaha tasam brahma mahadyonir iham bija pradaha pita. For all the wombs in which the living are generated, O Arjuna, I am the womb wherein they are created, and in all life forms on earth, I have fathered. From my seed, all their energies they have gathered. Well, I have created the yoni inside of which all the wombs which are born. Well, I am the creator. This world is just my womb, and in this there are so many living beings born. They are all just my children because I am the Supreme Father. It is my energy that is empowering everybody. When we realize this thing, that it is the divine energy that is empowering all of us, that means all of us will have similarities in traits or not, or all of us are going to be different. We are all going to have similar traits, and those traits are what we call gunas. Krishna is now introducing us to the gunas. Before that, he has just told us that yes, they have all originated from me. Sattvam, Rajas, Tamahas iti gunaha prakriti sambhavaha nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Rajas, Tamas and Sattva are the qualities procreated. Threefold in nature they have been created. O Arjuna, the immutable self is by them bound. Governing the body and consciousness, they are found. These are like what we can say three universal operating systems: Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. How powerful are these? These are so powerful that even the Supreme Self, which is present inside the Jivatman, is bound by these principles of Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva. How do we look at it? I think in Ramayana we have the tale of Hanuman being bound, isn't it? Anybody? You know something about that? Anjaneya being bound in Lanka? Yes? Anything about it? Anyone?
I mean, it's pretty famous. Hanumanji was bound
Yes, sir.
by Indrajit,
Yeah, by
and
Indrajit. He was,
yeah, ब्रह्मास्त्र से उनको बांध लिया था, and then he get him into the darbar of Ravan,
yes.
and that's where all conversation started, and Lanka got into fire. So there's
Yes,
the whole
yes.
story there. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, but was he weak because of which he got bound?
No, Brahmastra it did not affect him.
It did not affect him, meaning he was so powerful. What
No,
we say,
he
like the
wanted to.
Atman.
Yeah, he wanted to go to Ravana. That's why he let
That is
himself
all.
die.
So, meaning he had a plan, isn't it?
Yeah, he had a plan.
So he purposely allowed himself to get bound because he wanted to execute that plan, and that plan was conveyed to him by Sri Rama himself. Well, something very similar we see in this shloka, where you see the Jivatman. The Jivatman is what? An ansha of the Paramatman, isn't it? Like our Hanuman was the ansha of Rudra himself, Rudra ansha, isn't it? If they say Bhima Rupi, Maharudra, Vajra Hanuman Maruti, he is so powerful. Yet he got bound because he had a plan. Well, something like that. The Jivatman is also getting bound by an astra. And what is this astra? It is the three gunas. The supreme Jivatman, whom Krishna has described, Nainam Chindati Shastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavaka, nothing, no fire, no weapon can cut. Well, that same Jivatman is now getting engulfed by the forces of the three gunas. The body and the consciousness is governed by these three gunas. So, can we think that the Jivatman has come with a mission? Yes. And is allowing the forces to work over him, over the body and over the consciousness. What do you think? Anybody?
Yes, I think that Jivatman has come with certain purpose.
Yes, yes, yes. The Jivatman is, it is not for fun or just for some fluke that the Jivatman has descended, or we are experiencing the life moments that we are all experiencing. They're all part of something. What it is, we have to discover it. When we discover the highest truth. But that is there, and this is the principle of the three gunas, Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva, that bind us. Let us look a little bit more into what these gunas are according to Krishna. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakasham anamayam sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena janagha. Sattva is the quality that reflects in serenity, immaculate by virtue, illumined by virtue and an immaculate purity. This quality produces in man no disease or affliction. O Arjuna, it expresses through happiness and knowledge is fascination. So the first quality being told to us is sattva. This is a guna of nature, Prakriti's guna. If you see, these gunas are binding the Jivatman. Our body and consciousness is governed by these three gunas. Let us see the first one. It reflects in serenity, this quietude, shanti, illumined by virtue. There is a teja of virtuousness, one immaculate purity. The shuddhata is just emanating from this guna. The person's when the body and consciousness is governed by sattva guna, you will see purity radiating from that individual. There would be great peace also in that individual. This is very interesting. This quality produces in man no disease or affliction. O Arjuna, it expresses through happiness and knowledge is fascination. It is the person with sattva is going to have one kind of ananda more often, that person tries to keep getting happy. It just comes naturally. And there's a great fascination in learning new things. There's a fascination to grow in knowledge. That is what sattva does. But this one particular line, sattva produces no disease or affliction. How do we say that? Anyone? One is at quality, but quality and disease, what is the connection with it? The person is going to be quiet, the person is going to be peaceful, the person is going to have a tendency to understand the right things and grow. All that is fine. How is it connected with disease? This is less likely to produce disease, is what Krishna says. Why is that? Anyone? Yes, please.
Is it that serene mind will promote good health, sort of like how stress is supposed to be the cause of most diseases?
Yes.
So if your mind is serene and calm,
Yeah.
something like
Yes.
that?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a psychosomatic link in our body. How you think. If I'm always cranky, I'm always restless, I'm always angry, I'm always frustrated, will that not lead to palpitations?
Yes.
Will that not lead to higher blood pressure? Again, the higher blood pressure is not going to trouble my organs. It's a full cycle. It's a very important cycle. We have to, if you understand it, where it begins, maybe the individual might be able to cut the origin of the troubles in their life. So we see a person who is having sattva nature, that person is less likely to fall ill. The food that person chooses also will not be driven only by desire or frustration. What happens when we are angry or when we are sad or emotionally disturbed? Our eating patterns change.
When you have stress, you eat more.
You eat more. Our sleeping pattern also changes.
Yes.
Yes, so everything changes in our life. So if we are able to cultivate sattva guna inside, maybe a lot of our problems can be resolved. At least you live better lives, is what Krishna is saying. Let us see further. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam nannibadhnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. Next is this quality of rajas. Rajas is that which ignites in one a passionate fire. Because of rajas, it's like a fire of doing things. A strong feeling of liking, longing, and desire. O Arjuna, it is born out of a possession for things. Through attachments to works, it binds the self in all beings. We just have to remember what Krishna told in the preceding shloka, shloka number 5, that all three gunas are binding the Atman or the self. The Jivatman is bound by all three gunas. So first we were told about some very beautiful guna called Sattva, which is having so many nice things. But we must remember even Sattva is binding the Jivatman. Just let us keep that in the head at this moment. We'll come back to it a little later. But at least just for the sake of understanding, let us just keep in the head that it binds. It binds, even Sattva is binding the Jivatman. Now we are introduced to Rajas. But Rajas is that fire, a passionate fire which is ignited in a person, making a person feeling a strong liking and strong desire. Meaning, you ask a sattvic person, would you like tea or coffee? It's okay, no problem. Whatever, it's okay, this is also fine, that is also fine. No specific strong liking. But a Rajasic person, no, I want coffee only, and that too, I will have coffee with this sugar, this much, this. Means very strong, only this, only this. This liking is something, but a very strong liking. That feeling is Rajasic. It ignites the fire of inside, a passionate fire. Sometimes it's required, isn't it? The passionate fire is required to do works. Yes or no?
Yes.
Without that fire, works cannot be done. But this is not just that fire which allows a person to do work. It is a very strong one which leads to possession of things. It leads to possession. Possession of how? What is possession? Anybody? What is possession of things? Possession of people? And how does it make a difference?
All mine, that everything is mine. that sort
Okay,
of
the
feeling.
feeling of everything is mine. That is one type. That is like a position for multiple. But generally, people don't have position for everything.
Not for everything, whatever is yours, that is mine, like that type of possession.
Okay, okay. So, all right. Viju Maji has shared. Anybody would like to just share something about position of people or position of things? Yes, sir. Pankaji?
Yeah, I can share this because
Hmm.
I've seen it.
Okay, good.
Possession is, of course, when you become very possessive about certain things. It could be a
Yes.
laptop, it could be a phone, it could be a person, it
Yeah.
could be your wife.
Yes.
I'm very possessive about you. इससे बात मत करो, उससे बात मत करो. Very,
Yes.
very possessive. Like you are in my control and you should behave as
Controlling.
if
Yes. What I tell.
very, very possessive. Now,
Yes.
मेरे दिमाग में ये आ रहा था कि like you have to be possessive about your work also sometime. Like Abdul Kalam ji, if you're not possessive about your work, you cannot go to
But
deliver that 100%. But that possessiveness is different. It's
yes,
not
yes,
for
yes.
you. It's for
Yeah.
certain. It's for the
Yes.
welfare of the society or welfare of the nation or
Yeah. But
something like.
yes, yeah. But Kalam sir also had a very nice way of functioning where he never kept the authority or adhikar to himself. Means one Professor Arun Tiwari ji had told me that he had just been told by his guru. He looked at Kalam sir as guru. He said, "Go to this particular place."
And
He did not even know why he is going. After going there, he has learned that he has been appointed the head. The one who is receiving him at the train station says, "You are the head of this project," and he says, "I didn't know." So this aspect of holding on to people, holding on to things is
yeah.
actually. Yeah, Pankaj is saying something. Yes, sir.
No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have some.
Yeah. Yeah, so fine. So this aspect of possession for things, it sometimes leads to excessive attachment, sometimes manipulation. It becomes toxic also for the individual who is being possessed, plus the individual who is trying to claim possession. It is for both. So this is the drawback of rajas which we are seeing. Through attachment to works, always attached. My work has to happen only after my signature and approval. The smallest thing should happen only if I say yes, otherwise it should not. That kind of feeling comes in out of rajas. So we saw sattva, we saw rajas. Now let's look at the third one, tamas. Tamas tu ajnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramada lasya nidrabhis tannibadhnati bharata. But tamas is a quality that creates a delusion and traps all beings in by ignorance is illusion. O Arjuna, the mortals are by it confounded. In laxity, laziness, and sleep, it is founded. Tamas is the quality that creates a delusion, meaning you get deluded. You do not know what is right, what is wrong. You just start imagining, visualizing your own things. You are living in your own world. In short, you are just trapped in Maya because of tamas. You are in ignorance, and in that illusion of ignorance, you are not able to see the truth at all. The mortals that get confused by it. They don't realize it only. You have heard of this, no? Vinasha kale viparita
Viparita
buddhi.
buddhi.
Means, why will a person want to willingly destroy himself or herself? They will not do it willingly. But they are now in the trap of tamas. They are trapped in their own illusions and they are not seeing the truth. It is in laxity, laziness, and sleep it is founded. So and there is also it is in laziness, in sleep, excessive indulgence, overindulgence in sleep, and in a very casual indifference. That is also tamas. Not wanting to do anything, that is also tamas. When we have this Krishna's butter for kids, we introduce this and then we ask children to give examples. Immediately, the brothers will say, My sister is tamasic, my sister is rajasic, I am sattvic. That is all every child says the same thing. They connect themselves with Sattva Guna and the others with the other gunas. But we have to then clarify why are we telling this? This is not for you to point fingers at others. It is for you to do a self introspection which guna is working inside of you All three gunas work inside of you. You are not set, like you cannot be wholly rajasic, wholly tamasic, wholly sattvic. But understand they function inside. That is something Krishna says here in the Gita, that all three gunas are there. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. The qualities have been told. These are very important shlokas because from here the Gita will get a decisive turn and the three gunas are not going to stop till the 18th adhyaya. It allows us to also see how much by modulating one small aspect of our life we can actually bring about major transformations if we just begin to control these three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Let us see once again in the next shloka. We stop at ninth shloka and we will just look at it in a little detail, these three gunas after that. Because sattvam sukhe sanjayati, rajah karmani bharata, jnanama vrutyatu tamaha, pramade sanjayatyuta. By happiness, nature sattva is bound, and by desires and actions, rajas is ensnared found. O Arjuna, but tamas is attached to negligence, and its cloak of ignorance cages the intelligence. This shloka is telling us that all three have limitations: sattva, rajas, and tamas. Sattva is bound by happiness, by its fascination to get happy and blissful and quiet and peace. In that also there is a binding there happening. By desires and actions, rajas makes the person bound, but tamas is attached to negligence, and its cloak of ignorance cages the intelligence. Very interesting. All means so far we saw the three gunas. Which one looks to be the best of the gunas? Anybody?
Sattva guna.
Sattva guna looks. Why is it, Maji?
Because, with the Sattva guna, we can be very peaceful and calm and serenity. And with that, we can avoid so many things like desire, disease,
Okay.
and happiness and
Okay.
knowledge.
Fine, but it is still having a limiting factor. But maybe it is the best. It is the best of the three because Rajas is maybe slightly
If
better
we
than
can attain
Tamas.
some Sattva is difficult to attain, but if we can attain that would be very good. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, but still Sattva also has some amount of limitation, isn't it?
Yes.
Because sometimes we say, don't be too good to be true. Or some people are, I cannot raise my voice. I don't like raising my voice at all. And they are not raising their voice at all when it sometimes you need to raise, isn't it?
Yes.
Then there is some, then, but does that mean we move to Rajas? Because we have just been told that Rajas has its own drawbacks. It makes us possessive, it makes us angry, it makes us frustrated, it makes us try to control everything.
Or a combination of all three gunas.
Then there will be combination of all three gunas faults also, no? Isn't it? So there is one more state which is said to be beyond this that Krishna has not introduced. But to understand that, first thing we must at least recognize, because Sattva is good, yes. Rajas is okay, Tamas is bad, but all three have their own roles. Tamas is also required sometimes. The Shanti of Shiva, no? The trance of Shiva, it enters down into the Bhuloka and becomes Nidra. Sometimes Nidra is required for us. Nidra is required to, rejuvenate ourselves. But when it becomes too much, it becomes a problem. So how much withdrawal, how much activation, all those things, let us keep this on hold because we will see Krishna explain to us. As of now, we see that there are these three, Sattva, Raja and Tamas. All three are there inside of the same individual. This much we can definitely infer that yes, there are three gunas, they have just been introduced. We don't know the functioning of the gunas yet, but just a basic introduction of three gunas has been done. But these three gunas have such a powerful, influencing factor. Not only are they binding The Jivatman, they are governing our body and our consciousness. Monday morning, if I have to go to work, which guna comes into me? Tamas, isn't it? Some more time. Alarm is ringing. It's 15 minutes, 5 minutes. Though 5 minutes is not going to help anything, nothing will change. But at that time, tamas goes on. Or when I start doing the activities, no, I have to do it. Enough. I have made plans. I have to do this. All of you listen. Everybody. But then after a while, what happens? My energy goes down if I'm just overexerting myself, or if I end up doing certain things in the rajasic state, it will spoil everything. So then I have to maybe control. So that is the rajas. Again, tamas we saw. Sattva is definitely good, but sometimes sattva is not enough. For the divine's work, sattva creates a ground, makes us understand that means in rajas nature there is no God, there is only I. In tamas nature, I is also not there, God is also not there. Person knows, God only knows in which delusion that tamas person exists. But sattva at least allows us to understand something about divinity. But to understand divinity and become an instrument of divinity, one has to even transcend this sattva guna. We will see that later in the next part of this adhyay. Krishna is going to share to us. So one small interesting incident I just would share was a friend of mine. He was always sleeping only all the time. His mother I met and she said, make him do something, and so it was like join the class is what I had told him. So he joined. He came for 2 3 days, and he did not go beyond 2 3 days. But then his mother started attending the class, and then his mother and I became very good friends. So she said after reading this chapter, she would go and wake her son up. Hey Tamas, get up. Hey Tamas, get up, and he would reply, Rajas, I want to sleep for some more time. They began looking at each other as gunas, and they had a very interesting dialogue. But at least you are able to watch the gunas inside of you, isn't it? If we can see that slowly, we will be
You
able
can
to
develop
modulate.
whichever you want.
Yeah. And it is important, and it's sometimes very underestimated. Some of the biggest things in life are very simple, but they are under the power of the simpler things are underestimated. So these three gunas, if we just somehow understand, our life will become a lot easier. One more last example was, I remember in college only. One professor was in a spree of blasting the students. Everybody who were coming on the path were getting scoldings. And so one was a student who he felt he is very close to that professor. He also received all the blastings, and his face became very small. Then I just came to him and we had a conversation. I said, why are you feeling bad? He said, no, I got this kind of scoldings. I didn't do anything bad. What is the meaning of all of this? Then I said, see, he actually, while coming out of the room, he hit his head on the wall. After that, he was cranky. So whoever came on his path, he is going to be cranky right now. After some time you go and meet, it will be different. And it was so nice. That time it was only Rajas inside of him, so he was doing that. After a while, when he became Sattvic, he had a different type of dialogue. Well, it is very interesting. If we can understand gunas, we can observe gunas in us, we can observe gunas in others, we'll be able to work better. But let us wait for some more time, because Krishna is going to tell us some more details about these gunas. Well, at least now we can see there are three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. How do they work? What is their role? And what do they govern? If you see, right from the food types, right from the way we do even the yajna, right from the way we do a donation, right from the way we speak, the way we do any little action, all these gunas are going to have a stamp on us. And it is important, isn't it, that the remote control should be in somebody else's hand, or it should be in our hand?
In our hand.
In our hand. That is why sadhana is required. We have to learn, because otherwise these gunas take control of us and we then start getting influenced by them only. So let us see what Krishna is going to say. So we stop here at shloka number 9.
9.
Yes, so we continue from 10th in the next week. Yes, please. Anybody has any queries, anything you wish to ask or share, you are welcome. or we can just look at some of the takeaways and we'll go ahead. Yes, please. Yeah, if there are no questions, can someone just tell me 1 or 2 points which you can say as a takeaway for all of us? It will be useful for us to think over, maybe on the weekend also. Anybody?
And then this
Closing
Krishna's-
shloka of the 13th chapter was through knowledge, you understand that your body and the knower of the body are two different things. And by knowing that and by controlling the Prakriti, you perhaps reach to the divine faster.
Yes, yes. There is a way to reach the divine, and that way is in the world only, by transformation. We can transform our mortal nature to a divine nature also. Yes, sir. Anybody else would like to add something?
Yeah,
Any other takeaway?
Krishna is talking about the difference between the Prakriti and Purusha.
Yeah,
And Prakriti is active and
yeah,
Purusha is inactive and silently watching.
yeah. And both are
Prakriti
together
is,
performing.
yeah, Prakriti is acting inside, and who realizes that this truth can easily reach to divine.
Yes, yes. This understanding of the Prakriti
Yeah,
and
Prakriti
Purusha.
and Purusha.
Yes, yes, Maji. Absolutely. So I think with this, we conclude our session unless somebody wants to add something else. Anything else? Yeah, okay. Pankaji. Yes, sir. Please unmute, sir. I'm unable to hear you, sir.
I'm sorry. Today we had like a lot of guests coming in and going out.
That's
So
fine. Yes, no problem.
So one point which I could really understand from it is that Krishna ji is saying that the way one Surya, he illuminates an entire world.
Yes, yes.
Same way, one Atma, which is inside you, can illuminate your whole body for entire time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So that divine thing, like Surya and Atman, that resemblance he gave.
One spark. A spark is enough to light that, and it is something. And it is same way. If you realize it, you can bring about a transformation. So that's how future is going to be for the world.
Yeah.
There will be initially small, as Sri Aurobindo has talked about. There will be Gnostic societies, small groups of people who are awakened and conscious, and then these conscious groups will then illumine the world and bring about a transformation.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes, sir. Dr. Nandakeshwarji, were you adding something, sir?
Yeah. So just one of the very interesting quote is that, like, the extraordinary people that we see around us are ordinary people, but they do their work with extraordinary passion.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. Yeah, absolutely. My Goji Damleji also would say, be an ordinary person leading an extraordinary life. I think little things will make a difference. It is the extraordinary part is the divine's touch, isn't it? That touch has to be established. Once it is done, there is nothing ordinary remaining. Yes. So let's conclude with the Shanti mantra. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Hari Om. Punarmilama. See you next week.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Namaskar ji.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ji.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
ji.
you.
Namaskar.
Happy weekend,
Thank you,
sir.
ji. Happy weekend, ji.
Namaskar.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.